right time. I'm here in my little makeshift work spot. I got a little bit of time off, so I'm choosing to show you guys exactly how the Schedule 10 stainless steel is to be done. Again, as you guys watch the videos I make them to help you guys out, to give you guys the edge whenever you're in the field. And that's pretty much it, to give you a good advantage. I remember when I was in the field, I mean, a lot of the things I learned was through trial and error. I had a few good guys along the way, but for the most part, they always told me, you keep doing it, you're gonna get it. That wasn't good enough. So I understand that. And a lot of you guys do normally know that I have tutorials on chrishtaner.com. On the welding tutorial side, I actually sell these tutorials, but I do understand during this time, this COVID time, and a lot of people out of work, a lot of you guys are in your trade schools, you don't really have the means, the wherewithal to actually purchase the tutorials. So what I'm going to give you is these tips and tricks and these techniques on how stainless steel goes. It works in the field, off the field, wherever you at. It doesn't matter. Position weld, in the rack, in the tripod, it all works the same. So I want you guys to pay attention, check it out, and use these techniques in the field. Again, this is for you guys, for my family, my YouTube family. And besides, I know how it is. So these techniques, they're here for you. Again, I usually sell them on the tutorial side on my website. I'm giving it to you guys, sort of like a try it before you buy it. Right? Alright, so let's get started. What we're working on today is Schedule 10 6.5-inch stainless pipe. So let's take a look at what we got going on. Alright, so the technique I want to show you guys today, what you see here, let's get a good camera angle. What you see here, this is a 1/8 gap opening with a 1/8 3/16 stainless wire. And what I want to show you guys today is pretty much how easy it is to get the root to go in. Some people fight this technique. Some people, well, not even this technique, some people just fight stainless. When it comes to stainless, they get all nervous and worked up and feeling like it's the end of the world and you run hot and all this different stuff come playing in your head. And what I'm here to tell you is pick a heat. Get your test plate, and what you want to do, start off with the lowest heat. And on your test metal, on your test plate, what you want to do is make sure your rod is not melting at a really fast pace. You want your rod to pretty much melt slow. You want to be able to control your rod, control the puddle. The puddle's not melting out completely, it's just pretty much balling up. Start from that point. Get your test plate, strike off, start to run over your rod, and as you see that metal begin to ball up, you see that rod begin to consume, begin to melt, then you know if that heliarc melt that rod, it's going to melt that thin paper bevel. The bevel is really thin, right? And I don't mean to be too simple with it, but I want to explain it where you guys can understand it. The bevel is paper thin. This 1/8 rod is 1/8 in diameter. If you got your amps set where it melts this rod, it don't have to melt it out completely like a pancake. You know when you cut your heat up really high, you stick your filler metal to it, to that heliarc, and it just liquefy the rod? No, it don't have to do that. All that heliarc have to do is melt your rod where it balls up, where that metal turned from solid to liquid. Okay, that's it, solid to liquid. Just once that heliarc hit it and that metal start to ball up, that's it. That means your temperature is right and you're ready to weld. Now, for some guys who move really fast, you might want your temperature just a little hotter than the average. Okay, so in other words, when you get your test plate, okay, you're testing your heat, strike off your heliarc, you add your wire to your heliarc, and it does a little more than ball up. It kind of liquefy a lot faster. Okay, that's just for you. Hey, it's going to work either way. The point is, if that heliarc turn your rod from solid to liquid, it's ready to go. Okay, so what I'm going to do, again, this is a 1/8 gap. You see that? That rod is not, it's not a loose 1/8 as some people call it. It's a true 1/8. Okay, I can set my rod on top and it doesn't really fall through. It just sets right on top of the bevel. Okay, I'm gonna let it go. See that? It just sets right on top of the bevel. If I stick it down here, it's gonna pop through. Okay, I can press it, a little bit of pressure, and it falls through. Okay, you can do that. Okay, now if you got a fitter who got, you asking for a 1/8 gap all the way around, and certain spots may be a little wider than others, that's okay. That's okay. All you have to do is put a little forward pressure on your puddle. Okay, so say you lay your wire there, you lay your wire down. Okay, you got the wire laid down, you got your heliarc started, and it's good. It's going through. It's melting. It's good. You put a little downward pressure on your rod as you walk over just the wire, just the width of the wire, and that gap start to open up. People call it keyhole. All you have to do is just a little forward pressure. I know I'm exaggerating that forward pressure a little bit more than what you're going to actually put towards the puddle. I just want you to see and understand, once that gap, if that gap start to open up, start to keyhole on you, just a little forward pressure, and walk that cup. A little forward pressure, walk that cup, and pretty much connect that that puddle back to your rod. Okay, that keyhole will disappear whenever you put a little forward pressure on that molted puddle. So you walk in your cup, and all of a sudden your heliarc break loose from your puddle, and it start to keyhole. Just a little forward pressure and continue to walk, and it'll connect right back, and you're gonna win. Okay, so we got that part out, right? So let's get ready to start. Before I start, let me make sure you guys understand what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to lay that wire right on top of the bevel. Okay? Before I lay my wire on top of the bevel, what I'm going to do, I'm going to start my heliarc. My tungsten, my cup is in position. Strike off. I'm going to melt one side of the bevel with my heliarc, and I'm going to melt the other side of the bevel with my heliarc. So you follow me. I'm going to add my wire to the molted puddle. Okay? I'm going to add my wire to the molted puddle. So both bevels are going to be melted. So you're going to hit one side, hit the other, then you're going to add your wire, which is going to create a puddle. Okay? Then you begin to walk over the wire, just the width of the wire. Now, if you just go just a hair or just a little bit over the width of the wire, yeah, you'll do fine. You'll look at what you got going on and you determine, hey, you know, I need to stick with just the width of the wire, or I can go a little bit wider. But for learning sakes, just the width of the wire. Now, what amps am I on? With this 1/8 rod, rod here, I like to use 51 amps. Okay. Now, rule of thumb for me, anywhere between 50 to 65 amps. Anywhere between 50 to 65 amps with your 1/8 rod. Just walk the width of the wire, okay? So that's what I'm going to get ready to do. That's exactly what I'm getting ready to do. I'm getting ready to show you guys what it looks like. I don't have the ability to do puddle shots at the moment. It's just me. Just getting this message to you guys so you guys can go out there and make money. Okay, so stay tuned. Remember guys, just the width of the wire will be just fine. You know your heat's right. You already tested your heat. You see that your rod is not melting really quick because you remember, this Schedule 10 is exact same width okay, of your rod. Let's bring up my digital caliper and prove a point. What we're gonna go do is show you how thick stainless steel Schedule 10 pipe really is. And again, this is why, the reason why I'm showing you this is to prove a point to you. Okay, what I want to show you is how thick, well, I'm going to show you the width of stainless steel pipe. What is the width of Schedule 10 stainless steel pipe? It is 1/8 of an inch. You see that? Let me get it steady. All right. 1/8 of an inch thick. That is the thickness of your Schedule 10 pipe. So you say, why are you showing me that? Why does that matter? Well, because if that Schedule 10 pipe is 1/8 of an inch thick, and you got a 1/8 of an inch thick filler metal or wire, and you say, well, what heat should I put the 1/8 wire on? Or what amperage should I burn my 1/8 filler metal? Well, do a practice run, right? If you melt that wire, you will melt that edge of the bevel. So you do not want it melting too fast. This is why, or melting at an extreme pace, because that's going to cause the keyhole and just be a total mess. You don't want a total mess. So your heat is very important. Use those heat ranges that I gave you, anywhere from 50 to 65 amps. Try it. So I got my heat set at 51 amps. Just to make sure I have a true 50 amps, I always set it 1 amp up. So it's 51 amps. Okay, so again, remember, I'm going to use the technique I'm telling you to do, which is what? Both bevels, right? Put the cup in position. Strike off, now one bevel, go to the next bevel, and add your wire. So let's see what's going to happen. Starting to open up on me. I'm going to add my wire, move forward just a little bit. Starting to open up on me again. I just stuck my wire to the funnel, just move it forward just a little bit. Walk over the wire. That's it. Just the wire. Just the wire. Just the wire. Remember, it's going to melt that paper thin bevel. As long as that filler metal is melting, you know it's doing its job. Let's see what we got. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Just as you do the top, it's the same way you're going to do the bottom. Okay? The only difference is your angle is going to be different, of course. But you're gonna have a little more pressure, not where you pushing, but just a hair difference in pressure. Upward pressure, just a hair difference. Try it, and you'll see that it's not that much of a difference, but it's pretty much the same thing. Lay that wire there between your 1/8 gap, and just walk over the wire. Walk over the wire. That's it. Walk over the wire. And you guarantee to get your root in. Every time, anytime. It's just going to work. It doesn't matter. So let's see what we got. Alright guys, so let's open this up and just see what we got. I know I did a good tape job. At least I feel like I did a good tape job. But hell, it's all good. Let's cut the argon off. You don't want to waste too much argon, especially if you're practicing. If you're in your own shop space, that argon is like gold. Unless you got an endless amount of money feel like wasting your argon. But who wants to do that? Nobody. All right, so let's take a look at what we got. First, let's look at the top. Okay, so let's take a look inside this pipe and see what we got going. Let's see what's going on. Let's see what's going on here. I'll tell you what I do. Just bear with me 1 second. Let me get this. I'll tell you, it's always something up with the light, eh? Just give me 1 second. Let's flip it around. It's pretty much the root right there, but let's get a better. Get a better angle of it. As a matter of fact, let's take the inside. You see that root right there? Now tell me that ain't gonna work, baby. Tell me that ain't gonna work. You can't tell me that ain't gonna work. Y'all learning something today. Till this day, y'all gonna learn something, huh? All right, so let's point at some of this root we got going on. It's perfect. You can't beat that. It's perfect. Perfect for the QC, perfect for the X-ray. So, okay, I'm gonna point the file. As you look at the pattern of weld, this weld here, it's pretty much consistent, but you got certain spots where it's a little wider than everything else, okay? When you look down the weld, everything else is straight, all the way to where I stopped at. But you see this part here, it's a little wider, right? That's where my puddle keyholed on me. What did I tell you to do whenever the puddle keyholed on you? Tell me. Exactly. Just add the wire, just a little forward pressure, connect your wire back to the molted puddle. That's it, and that's all it does. It did it twice, that right there and right here, but that's fine. You still got a beautiful, consistent bead. You don't see no imperfections. You don't see no undercut in your root. That's what you want. That's what you want, okay? That's what you want. And again, all I did was put a little downward pressure on my rod, and I just walked over the width of the rod, okay? And this root is not flat. It's not exactly flat. It's got a little convex to it. Okay, it's not concave. It's a little over a 3/16. I take that back. It's a little over 16th penetration, just a hair over 16th penetration. This is a 1/8 wire, okay? So if I was to get a 3/32, you just use your imagination. That still would be less than a 3/32 in root penetration. So what I'm trying to tell you is it's good. And from this angle, you probably can't see exactly what's going on, but you can see now. You can see all you need to see. And trust me when I tell you, it's the perfect technique. You don't have to worry about stainless steel ever again. That's it. Follow the technique I'm telling you. You're gonna do just fine. That's it. On your test, if you use a 1/8 wire, okay, look at me when I'm telling you this. If you're gonna use a 1/8 gap, right, and you're gonna use a 1/8 wire, that's what you're gonna do. If you're using a 1/8 gap, use a 1/8 wire. Give yourself a 1/8 gap, a true 1/8 gap, and go back in this video and see how I set my gap and what I was telling you about your 1/8 gap. Okay, set your wire on top, melt the bevel on one side, melt the bevel on the other side. Add your wire, walk over just the width of the wire. Okay, same as the top, same as the bottom, same as the side. You're gonna do just fine, guys. So it's gonna be a part 2, 3, 4, and 5, because what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna show you all the techniques. Okay, these techniques are beautiful. Because you say, hey, in the field, what if I can't just get a 1/8? Just like you see on some of my videos. What if my fitter gives me a 1/8 here, a 1/8 there, a 5/32 here, a 3/16 here? What am I going to do? So let's check out the gap. So this is what I'll be talking about. Like in the field, you get things like this. It's not a perfect gap, as you can see. Let's see, this is a 5/32 wire right here. 5/32. That's the gapping wire we use. So you can clearly see it's 5/32 going through this side of the quarter. And let's check out this part of the quarter. It's tight. And it's clearly not a 5/32. So let's see. Okay, so I got a piece of 1/8 wire. Let's see if it's a 1/8. Okay, so it's a 1/8. It is 1/8. Yep. This is a 1/8. I say it's a loose 1/8. 1/8 got a little bit of space to move around as I wiggle it back and forth, but it's not a 5/32. And then as you get a little bit farther down the pipe, let's see, it actually changes to 1/8. And we can't let that slide. I'll run the wire down the pipe. So it's a 1/8 from here, from this tack, all the way to that point, right here. Then it changed, like I said, to a loose 1/8. So let's roll it, and let's continue to see what the gap looked like all the way around. So I'm gonna take this 1/8 wire again, and as you can see, it's a tight, I call it a tight 1/8. Not quite a 3/32. Let's take the 3/32 wire and check it out. So the 3/32 falls through, so again, it's not quite 3/32 gap opening, and it's a little less than a 1/8. So we'll call it a tight 1/8. So let's see what we got on this side. And I think it's going to go right back to a 5/32 in certain parts. Like right here, 5/32. I'll say that jumps to a 1/8. So as I always mention, in the field, you never get a perfect position or a perfect fit. In this case, the fit is not perfect, and this is what it looks like in the field. So this is why I say you got to be diverse in a lot of the do. You have to be diverse. You got to know how to work these gaps, because it's not going to be perfect in the field. And that's a fact, Jack. You're pretty much going to do this. Okay, I'll tell you what. Stay tuned, all right? Everybody stay tuned. Tell a friend, share this video, help somebody out, because stainless steel is not the boogeyman, okay? It's not the boogeyman. It's not what people say it is. Steel is your friend. And this is what, again, let's look at the top of the weld. All I done was walk over the width of the wire. That's it. Walk over the width of the wire. So imagine if it was in 6G position like this piece of pipe here. I had somebody in here practicing on their passes, which they actually got them, you know, pretty consistent in terms of the overlay. Okay, but yeah. So imagine if this was in 6G position. You got all 4 tacks in. You're gonna do it the exact same way. But being that you got your 4 tacks in, you're gonna melt. You're gonna say if this. Okay, let's check this out. Say if this is your tack, right? Just this part. I would strike my heliarc off on the tack. I'll melt it, make sure it's melting. I'll go side to side, melt it real good, turn it to a multi-puddle. Turn it to a multi-puddle. And then I would do what? I would simply add my wire to the multi-puddle and walk over the width of the wire. That's it. I'll finish 1/4 out. I'll start at the bottom quarter, and the exact same thing. Melt that tack, let that tack turn into a multi-puddle. Add your wire. And just pretend we're on the bottom. I'll add my wire, and I'll keep an upward force, okay, on that puddle. But keep in mind, this gap is going to be a 1/8 gap on my 1/8 rod. So when I press just a little upward force onto my puddle, my rod is not going to fall through, okay? It's not going to fall through. So just keep in mind, you're not pressing extremely hard. Just a little exaggerated force when you're on the bottom. And again, like I said before, try it, and then you'll be able to determine how much force you're putting on, or how much force you need to put on that bottom quarter to get your root the way you want it to go. But it's even though I'm explaining it to you, it's not even that. It's a no-brainer. Set your wire there, walk over the wire. You're gonna win every time. Every time you're gonna win. You're gonna win every time. So I was glad I was able to help you guys out, to share this tip with you. Listen, guys, we all want to be successful, right? Let's just have a little talk. We all want to be successful, right? Okay. I usually sell tips like this. You can take this tip, this technique from this video, and go straight to a test booth and pass a stainless steel test. I'm getting ready to go to Florida and work a job. I'm getting paid $41 and $130. Okay, this job is mainly stainless. I'm gonna use the exact same technique. And remember, whenever you go and apply for a job, it doesn't matter if you was welding a year, 2 years, 3 years. If you get the opportunity to take a test and you pass the test, you got the money, just like that. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you weld next to a guy that's been welding 25 years. You're both gonna get paid the same thing. They're gonna expect you to make good welds, and you're gonna be earning that money. Just off this technique right here, you can pass a stainless test. You can survive in the field welding. You saw what I did? I took the tape off and I showed you what it looked like. You got it. So again, back to what I was saying. We all want to be successful. So I'm giving you this video for free because I want you guys to go out there and try this technique and see that it works. Make that money. Okay, make that money. Make it. But here's the deal. If you know this technique has just blown your mind, you just seen this and you say, wow, I've been messing my stainless up forever. And you see this technique and you know it's going to help you. You know you done changed the game. You about to get that truck or that house or whatever you've been dreaming about getting. You know you're going to be a different welder after you try this technique. I want you guys to hit that Cash App, okay? Hit that Cash App. $5 or $10. If you feel like this technique is going to help you, if you know this technique is going to help you, I know it's going to help you. Forget it. I know it's going to help you. I weld stainless all the time, all day long. This past job, I was on a 3-month job, and that's all it was. It was just stainless. And listen, I made plenty of money off of that particular job. Okay. Now, me going around the country for years, year in, year out, it took a toll on me. Not necessarily on me, but my family. But that's another story, you know. But I want to dedicate the time to start showing you guys, okay? I want to kind of slow down on going from state to state. You know, my daughters are getting to the age where they pretty much need me home, you know. If you guys ain't at that stage yet with children, hey, you're gonna get there, okay? So again, forget about all that. Use this technique. If you know what's gonna work for you, guys, hit this Cash App. $5 to $10. That's it. $5 to $10. Whenever you can, support these videos so we can continue to make videos like this. I do it for you guys. You already know. You've been following me. You've been watching these videos for years. I've been giving you these tips. So look out for the cookout. I'm gonna see you guys in the field. You can do it. Stainless steel is not the boogeyman. All right. So it's time. It's about 11 o'clock at night. Okay. So I'm gonna turn in.
golden arm, because you're good at what you do.